Hello, everybody, and welcome back to part two of episode 4, looking at the end-of-year activities. In the first episode, or first part, I'm sorry, of episode 4, Star and I, talked about the challenges related to the end of the year and all the craziness that's going on and how we deal with it. We're going to look at more of how we deal with it in this particular part. Because there are a lot of great things going on. We want to make sure that our kids' best interests are at heart here and make sure that we end the year on a strong note. And so with that, we're going to look at ways in which we can deal with all the craziness in a positive way and move forward. Star?
So one of the major things I love to do at the end of a year, because reflection is such a huge part of this time of year, the last project that almost every single class that I do has something to do with free choice. I mean, they did do a lot of learning this year, so usually I provide them with the opportunity to create their own final project, and with that they generally design the assignment sheet. We talk about what should go into it. They design the rubric, standards-based, based on things that they've learned, and then we give them time in class to actually pursue doing the assignment that they created. So that's one thing that a lot of my students are doing, because it's self-paced work, it's all choice, every kid is doing something different in the room. It gives me the opportunity to talk less and really circulate and be a part of their experience, which helps me on a couple of levels. As far as the formative part of what's going on, I could keep a clipboard at my side and kind of just take down notes on the different things kids have decided to do to show what they know. For one, different challenges that they come across. They have questions they need to ask me. It's a really good time to informally really get a sense of how far they've come, and during those informal conversations I really do make it a point to tell them how much progress I've seen them make over the course of a year. For example, while we were in the library today, I met with all my students because it's the last day that we were in the library, and they needed to tell me where, basically I did a Google form for them to fill out so that they could think about what they wanted the focus of their conference to be. So we do a little bit of planning up front since we don't have that much time in class. And essentially they tell me where they are, what they're up to, and what specifically they need from me when they come into the conference. And then we have a conversation where I get a sense of where they are and how I could sort of help them talk through some of the issues as they're drafting now. And it was really, really nice to be able to sit with a couple of them, those particularly who may have had organizational issues, for instance, over the course of a year, and now they're using outlines effectively, and they're actually the person that other people are going to now to help with organization, which is really quite it's a really positive experience to watch. So as they're going through the process, they're also maintaining journals of their reflection of how they get their work, the challenges that they face, how they overcome those challenges, and more importantly, how they're going to apply them to their future. How did this learning experience help them for what comes next? And while they're doing this, I'm doing it also. What things, I'm always asking them, what part were you most prepared for? If you had the opportunity for more direct instruction, what specific things would you want me to spend more time on in class? Because this is when I start revising my syllabus for next year. This is my time to really think about the body of work I presented in class and how I want to improve it for next year, the kind of things I would like to do differently so that I could provide my students with the best learning opportunities for next year as well. What about you? I mean, I know you were talking about a lot of the planning for graduation and everything, and trying to get into teachers' classrooms and trying to manage the void of a lot of teachers doing great things with kids out of the building. So how do you inspire teachers to take the risk and do the planning and get all of this stuff done so that your kids can really benefit from enjoying a school concert or getting out of the building for a Met game?
Yeah, I think it's a crazy time of year, and our staff is tremendous. They all work together. We have grade level teams, and so I think that helps. I know some schools don't have grade level teams, so it makes the organization a little bit more difficult. But here we're a community that unifies, that comes together, that does whatever it takes to make sure that the kids are having fun, are learning, even when it's the last day in June and everybody's ready to go home. I think the learning keeps going. This is the time of the year where I think looking back at my years as teaching, it's important to have even more collaborative projects. Kids working together, reflecting on what they've learned this past school year in class, and kind of have a culminating activity where they can show what they know. And I think now more than ever, with the technology we have available and the resources that the kids have at their fingertips, I think there's some very creative ways that are fun, yet educational, where they can really show what they know. I know we're doing in 7th grade, we're doing a biome project where the kids have been working on this over the past month, and very soon will present their findings or their presentations, to their classmates. And we make a big deal out of it. And the kids, the groups that win, win certain prizes and things, and they feel very proud of their work. Basically, the groups, they pick a biome somewhere in the world, they research it, and they have to incorporate social studies and writing and all sorts of different subject areas. So it's an interdisciplinary project. And then somehow, using technology or non-technology, they really have to pitch their biome to their peers. And this is the place, where this is the best biome, this is the best place in the world to live, and why, sort of thing, based on certain characteristics. So it's a great project, and one that takes you into the end of the school year, keeps kids engaged. So it's really fun. We have field days, we have pool parties, we do all sorts of crazy things here. So it really goes back to planning, to teamwork, and to really celebrate learning, because the kids and the teachers here, they really work hard at what they do, and you need to celebrate. And for anybody that says that learning doesn't go on during the month of June, I tell them to come visit our school and see what's going on here, because we don't stop. And I think it's important to remember that. So, and it's weird too, because then you're looking ahead to next year. So you're starting to coordinate with the elementary schools even more, begin to schedule classes for your 2014-2015 school year. And so that's important as well. And we always try to keep it positive, keep the story positive, tell our story through social media, encourage people to continue to reflect, to really look at what we do each and every day, not only now, but we use that use the social media tools to our advantage, especially now, and just to keep the focus on education, on fun, on innovation, and that's very important to me and to others as well. Star?
I think a lot in the same vein. Something that I would love to see happen a little bit more. Something that my school is still relatively new. We've only been open for 8 years. And something that we haven't really gotten down yet is scheduling, getting it done earlier rather than later. One of the things I would love to see happen is find out who my students are before they leave for the summer, and maybe have the opportunity to meet with them and be able to do some kind of summer learning that prepares them, that obviously isn't too taxing. I'm not looking to ruin somebody's summer vacation, but I definitely am looking to maintain some connection to learning that goes on in school to get them ready, especially with seniors. Since most of the kids I teach are seniors, just preparing them for their college application process, getting them ready for the rigor that's going to be presented to them in the AP class, keep them reading throughout the summer and maybe talking about what they're reading. In the newspaper class that I teach, obviously we want to be able to be up and running as soon as September happens, so the website can be being updated over the summer, maybe not even as much as it is obviously during the school year, but to have something new once a week, even by like senior staff, and just have time to plan with my senior staff so that we could get a Google Hangout going in the month of June, in the month of July, outside of school, so that the kids are constantly still collaborating and getting prepared for next year so that we could work out the kinks of what we have, especially with the new technology. We've been trying out lots of different things to sort of streamline the process of, reporter working, editor giving feedback to reporter, and then having everything ready for publication online for the website, just kind of keeping that in a streamlined sort of situation. We're going to be implementing Google Calendars next year for scheduling when things are going to post, and giving free access to the entire staff, not just the editors, so people don't have to keep so no one's asking when is my stuff going to post. And really just continuing to get the kids involved, give them more ownership of their learning, and keep that process rolling. So something I would really love to see in the future at my school is a little bit more advance notice about what I'm going to be teaching. We could kind of laugh about that, but I usually don't know what I'm teaching until the day before I'm teaching it. It's not a good feeling, especially for somebody like me who is a planner. I like to have things planned. The one thing that's fortunate is my AP class, I'm the only one certified in my school to teach the AP Lit class, so I know no one else is going to get that. And at this time of year, I'm planning my assignment syllabus, I'm making adjustments, I'm getting everything ready because I like to give that to the kids on the first day of school, as well as, my welcome letter, and I do all kinds of activities that first week of school that sort of really establish the level of expectation and to kind of show them how their experience is going to be different. And this year was really quite a year for change, thinking about standards-based grading altogether, getting rid of traditional grading in my classroom. And one thing that I know we're going to be working on with Datacation and Schedula is actually using an online grade book that does standards-based grading instead of traditional grading where I'll have the space. Kids will be able to actually submit work straight from their Google Drive into the grade book, and I'll be able to grade it through the grade book without having to go back and forth from my drive. So there are certain things I certainly want to play with and really, really start shifting that mindset so that next year more magic, more excitement can be drawn on those things, and less planning time during the school year could happen. I really do like to use the time now, getting the feedback from the kids. I have a Google form that I've made for evaluation. I want the kids to tell me what was most useful. I want them to be critical and honest about the stuff that they didn't find useful, stuff that I could be doing differently, so that I could really use that as a part of my reflection to help them grow and to help myself grow. So, I mean, that's really what's on tap for me for the next couple of weeks.
That's great, yeah, and I think you've hit on an important topic in education, that's transition. So maybe that's something that we can look at next month or in the future as we get closer to the September, the 2014-15 school year. I think you have a lot of great ideas there, Star, to really make next school year even better. I think that's what we're always trying to do here, trying to do things better, more efficiently, and just with the focus of what's best for kids. So I think you hit the nail on the head there with all those different ideas, and kind of brings to a close our look here at end-of-year activities, the challenges, the ways in which we handle all that's going on in the months of May and June particularly. I know some schools around the country, around the world, have school all year round, so it's not an issue in terms of the end of year, maybe as much as it is where places have the summers off. So that's something else that we could discuss down the road. But I thank you for joining us here on episode 4, part 2 of Ed Perspectives. For Star Saxton, I'm Brad Curry. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.